The sun begins to set, dyeing the sky red in Marrakech National Park, South Africa. The vast golden grassland stretches out, creating a wild yet captivating scene. In the midst of that quiet scene, a pride of lions consisting of one male lion and 5 female lions are walking in search of prey. The majestic male lion, with a bright golden mane, leads the pride deep into the forest. The 5 female lions follow closely behind, their eyes blazing as they search for traces of prey. Marrakech National Park is famous for its biodiversity, but it also faces many dangers from poachers. In the deep forest, poachers often set dangerous traps to catch rhinos for their horns. The pride of lions is completely unaware of the potential danger, still leisurely advancing. The male lion smells a strange smell, immediately separates from the pride to observe. At that moment, its leg is suddenly caught in a sturdy steel trap. The clamp of the trap made the male lion in pain, roaring loudly. The 5 female lions were startled and immediately ran to the male lion. They surrounded their companion, their eyes filled with extreme anxiety. The male lion tried to pull his leg out of the trap, but only made the wound worse. His roar turned into a groan of resentment at this point. The trap was designed for rhinos, so the clamping force was extremely strong, making it difficult to escape. Time passed. The male lion lay still, panting, his strength gradually exhausted. The 5 female lions did not leave, they gathered around, trying to protect the male lion. From morning to evening, the pride of lions hardly moved far, only guarding and licking their friends' wounds. The evening covered the forest in orange, the wind rustled through the trees. Suddenly, a strange sound rang out, breaking the silence. It was the sound of Cabello's car engine, a reserve ranger driving home. He usually made a round before finishing work for the day. When he heard a faint growl, Cabello immediately stopped the car to check. He got out of the car, stunned when he saw the male lion trapped in an iron trap. Behind him were 5 female lions. They were watching him with wary eyes. Assessing the situation, Cabello immediately understood that this was a rhino trap set by poachers. He felt scared because it was getting dark, and he didn't have time to return to the center to call for reinforcements. If he didn't rescue him immediately, the poachers might come back to check the trap and kill the male lion. Determined to act, Cabello prepared a tranquilizer gun just in case. He walked slowly, his hands raised high to show that he had no intention of attacking. The 5 female lions growled, but remained still and did not charge at him. The male lion seemed to understand that he had come to help, and stopped whining. Cabello was still extremely tense, sweat pouring down his forehead and back. He put the tranquilizer gun aside, deciding to act by directly removing the trap. The male lion's leg was swollen, blood was oozing out, looking very painful. He took a deep breath and walked closer to the male lion. The female lions moved their legs slightly, preparing to defend themselves. Cabello gently said a few words of comfort, even though he knew the lions did not understand human language. His hands trembled when he touched the cold iron trap. The trap was firmly attached to the lion's leg, the chain wrapped around it. He tried his best to pry open the hard steel joints, putting all his strength into his arms. Time seemed to stop, every passing moment was precious to the lion. The male lion occasionally hissed in pain, but still tried to endure. 4 of the 5 lionesses seemed to want to approach, but the leading lioness blocked them. Their eyes were fixed on Cabello, half probing, half trusting. After about 15 minutes of fighting with the iron block, he finally managed to remove the trap. The male lion let out a powerful roar, as if to relieve the pain. The wound on his leg was still bleeding, but at least he had escaped the clutches of death. Cabello hurriedly grabbed the trap, ran quickly to the car to put it in the trunk. Then he returned, carrying an emergency medical kit. He disinfected the lion's wound, using cotton to wipe away the blood. The 5 lionesses stared, as if they couldn't believe their eyes at his actions. Cabello cursed the cruel poachers while bandaging them. He carefully placed the bandages, trying not to cause the lion any more pain. Despite his fear of the unexpected, he still did this job with all his heart. The male lion lay still, his breathing gradually becoming more stable. Cabello decided to inject it with a mild stimulant to help it recover quickly. The needle lightly touched the skin, The male lion was startled but did not react violently. He silently thanked that the lions were still calmly observing. The sky gradually darkened, the cold wind blew through the forest, making him even more hurried. After the injection, he packed up his tools and returned to the car. The adrenaline in his body had not yet dissipated, his heart was pounding with excitement. He looked back at the male lion. It was still lying there, its leg carefully bandaged. About 10 minutes passed, the medicine began to take effect. The male lion moved slightly, then slowly lifted itself up. It walked unsteadily, trying to adapt to the newly bandaged wound. The 5 female lions immediately approached, surrounding the male lion. The entire pride seemed to breathe a sigh of relief when they saw their friend could walk again. Cabello stood at a distance, carefully observing to make sure everything was okay. The male lion turned his head, looking at him with a strangely calm gaze. At that moment, he felt an invisible bond between him and the beast. Although it was only a few short seconds, it was enough to warm his heart. Cabello nodded to say goodbye to the lions, gently retreating. The sound of the car engine starting up broke the silence. He drove away from the area, not forgetting to look back at the lions one more time. The whole pride stood still, watching the car until it disappeared. The sunset gradually faded, and the Marrakech forest was plunged into a quiet night. From that day on, the memory of rescuing the lions was always imprinted in Cabello's heart. Every afternoon, on his way back from patrol, he passed by the place from the day before. He often stopped for a moment, listening to the rustling wind and the sounds of nature. Suddenly, one day, he caught a glimpse of a male lion from afar. It did not approach too closely, but it was clearly watching the car. The 4 female lions also hid behind the bushes, alert but not attacking. Cabello smiled. He realized that it was the male lion that had been escorting him the other day. The next day, the same situation happened again. The male lion followed the car for about 5 kilometers and then stopped. As a sign of peace, it quietly observed and then hid among the dense bushes. Cabello believed that this was the lion's way of expressing gratitude. Gradually, he considered it a special habit, helping him feel more deeply his love for nature. And so, every day, Cabello felt happy to see the lion's trusting eyes, proving the magical bond between humans and animals. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to follow the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.